So come on in the room. Make sure that you share this video with your network, share this video with your friends, tag people, and let's really get a great conversation going about things that make sense in the health and fitness world, especially as they relate to contest prep. For those of you that are watching this video for the first time or seeing this for the first time, you don't know who the hell I am. My name is IFBB Pro Roxy Beckles, and my main purpose out here on the internet, on Facebook and all that stuff, on YouTube or whatever, is to share my knowledge when it comes to training and nutrition and how women can do it better, women can do it smarter, especially those of you who are interested in taking your training to the next level and even competing on stage in figure, bikini, physique, or what have you. So today's topic is something that I experience a lot as a contest prep coach. It's something I experience a lot just as a coach myself, working with women who don't even compete but have the aspiration to. And must I also admit that it's something that I've dealt with as a competitor in figure and in physique along the way of my career. So I know that if I've been going through this and my clients have been going through this, that you probably have been dealing with this as well. It's a very common thing among competitors, and it's something that I feel like we all need to talk about. And what I'm talking about is body dysmorphia as it relates to competitors. Now, I'm going to actually break this up into a multi-part series, and today is part one, and I kind of want to touch on the topics that we don't openly talk about as competitors that I think that we all go through, and that it's important to kind of bring some light to the other side of competing. With social media, we all look at the glamorous parts. We see everybody on stage all glossed up, great sparkly suits on, the hair, the makeup, but then there's the aftermath of everything and what we truly deal with on the day-to-day as we make our way through this sport. And one of those things is being able to objectively see yourself in the mirror or see yourselves in pictures and not be in a place where you are constantly feeling insecure, judging yourself unfairly. So today's topic is very important. So please share this video. I can see your comments. Thank you so much. I can see all you guys right here that are joining me today. So make sure that you share this video and tag your friends. Now, I've got some notes that I'm going to be looking at while I'm on the broadcast here. So I will take comments and questions and stuff like that at the very end of the broadcast. And you'll see me looking down at my screen. It's because I got to make sure I get everything in. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So when we talk about body dysmorphia, what exactly are we talking about? How would we define it, especially as it relates to competitors? So body dysmorphia in layman's terms, something that's very easy for you to grasp and understand, is a psychological condition where someone sees flaws or perceived flaws about their body and obsessively think about them and even take extreme measures to correct them. This is something that we see across the board when it comes to both men and women who tend to be in the bodybuilding world or tend to be really crazy into the fitness thing. And so it's not just something that's specific to women, but that's what I'm going to go ahead and relate this to today because that's what my audience primarily is. Now, when we're talking about how this relates to competitors, what are we looking for? What do we see? And what do you want to kind of look at for yourself if you feel like you may be going through this? Often the focus is on minor flaws in your physique and you see them as major issues. Like I have competitors who have fantastic shapes, beautiful bodies, and they have that one little body part that they cannot seem to not obsess about, you know? And if you find yourself like that, you kind of want to take a step back and you know, look at the whole picture and what's really going on and seeing if something is in your head or if it's actually there. So that's one thing we want to look for. Another thing, you have a fear of gaining weight that takes you too far away from your stage weight, which in the long term can hamper your progress. That fear of, oh my gosh, I just step off the stage, I'm 5, 10, 15 pounds up from my stage weight and I'm not looking lean and shredded, and now I'm having a freak out party because of that. This is a common thing with a lot of competitors, and it's something you really have to overcome if moving up the ranks in this sport is something that's important to you, especially those of you who want to compete on the national level or who want to turn pro, or pros who want to get to that Olympia level. Very important thing, and a lot that right there we're going to get back to because I think that's more the common body dysmorphia that we see with a lot of competitors. No matter how much muscle you put on or even how lean you get, yet during a contest prep, you have an inability to see your progress and often focus on the things that still need to change in your eyes. So the inability to truly see what's there, the inability to see what positive things you are actually doing from your workouts, thinking that things just are going to magically shift and change just because you've been on a program for, a month or two, and freaking out when they don't. All of those things are red flags that you want to pay attention to. The next thing as it relates to competitors, you might even find yourself unhealthily comparing yourself to others, whether they are better than you or not. And this is something that's really, we got to take a step back and take a look at and consider, especially in our time period where we're dealing with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and seeing all of this stuff in our face like never before. And you guys, what I have to say about social media is that people are not revealing everything to you. In the same vein that you may feel insecure about what you're doing, there are other people out there. Give me 1 second. I need to Hold on, guys. Got to put up my topic. There we go. In the same vein that you may be looking at other people like, oh my gosh, this person is so much better than me, and why aren't I there? And I work so hard, and I've worked this. People are masking those same insecurities. So you've got to really be careful of what you follow on social media and make sure that you take away things that can help you and block out the things that can get in your mind and really screw up your own journey. So now that we've kind of identified what some competitors are actually dealing with when it comes to body dysmorphia and how it relates to us as figure and physique competitors, let's talk about how this can actually negatively impact you. All right, and the things that stand to hamper you and stand in your way. And then after that, I'm going to talk about some solutions for you that you need to think about in order to get things in a better place. Okay. Remember, guys, leave your comments below, leave your questions below. At the very end, I'll go over everything and we'll connect. So you have these are the things that will how this whole train of thought actually negatively impacts you. Okay, you think you're doing a great thing by identifying the things that, okay, the judges said I need to work on this, or my coach says I need to work on this, or I feel I need to work on this. This is now how the obsession about all of this stuff can really have a negative effect instead of the positive effect that you wanted. So you will often have the most difficult time during a prep because you'll tend to obsess over the wrong things, even if they aren't necessarily a problem for you structurally. The next thing, and this relates to that same exact thing, how it can negatively impact you. In cases where you feel you may not be lean enough, a lot of you will understand this. You'll go to extremes with cardio and diet to fix the issue, leading to muscle loss and a severely slowed metabolism. And on top of that, you'll be dealing with hormonal imbalances that can lead to what some call metabolic damage over time. So let me go ahead and just hash through that a little bit. And I wanna make a statement about the whole metabolic damage thing as well. So this obsession that you have with your body and not being able to see things as they truly are can actually negatively affect you in the long run. You guys have to really learn how to ascertain and to really see what is there and what is moving and what is not moving and what you actually need to work on. In the case of, let's say, contest prep, I see so many competitors looking at themselves. Maybe they don't have a coach that they truly trust. Maybe they're working on their own and they start seeing where they are and comparing themselves to other people and saying, oh, I need to be leaner, so let me do 2 hours of cardio a day. Let me eat the 1,000 calories or 800 calories a day. And let me push myself to these limits because that's what everybody does. And then I'm not where I want to be. This body dysmorphia thing can really hamper you at the end of the day because now you start doing things that are way in extreme, more so than the extreme that's necessary for a sport. Let's not get things twisted here, guys, okay? Being a bodybuilder, being a competitive physique athlete, being a physique competitor, being a figure competitor, and even with the look of bikini now is not easy. It's not just about showing up at the gym and doing whatever. It is about pushing your cardio. It is about really sticking to a diet because the way that the judging is going is that they're looking at really hard athletes with size and symmetry. That's just what it is. So whereas a couple of years ago, competitors were a little bit softer and smaller, honey, they are bringing it, and you do have to go to those extremes. But the problem becomes when you can't see what's in front of you in the mirror staring back at you, that is a formidable physique, that is a respectable physique, and then you get in your mind and start pushing things way too far, and you don't think about the ramifications that'll happen in the after effects when you get off of the stage. And what's even more crazy is that the obsessions that you build upon during your prep only get bigger. They only become more of a problem. So now you actually start feeding into this negative feedback loop in your head about you not being good enough, you not being lean enough. You've got to do 2 hours of cardio a day. You can't eat. You can't do a cheat meal. You can't do this. And your entire perspective on what it is to be healthy in this sport as a true athlete gets morphed, and you develop eating issues, and you develop body issues. You lose your sense of reality. And that's why it's important to address this topic right here and right now and be truly honest with yourself. Because you guys, we get into this sport because we love it. We get into this sport because at some point it inspired us. How could this thing that inspired you, that you loved, become the bane of your existence, become the thorn in your side, become the thing that you just don't look forward to and you dread? And that's why it's important to address this and to avoid it. Now, the ramifications as far as what it can do physiologically for you. You're not going to do yourselves any favor by doing more cardio, more training, more this, less food. This whole thing about the metabolic damage, it's really hard, honestly, to truly damage your metabolism. But what happens in a lot of cases, especially when I'm talking to you out there, my women, is that you start to hamper the ability for the thyroid to function, which controls metabolism. You hamper the ability for your adrenal system to work and function the way it needs to, taking cortisol way out of whack, and the host of other things that affects. And now you're not able to move your body. You're not able to lose. You're not able to get leaner because you have this warped thinking of yourself and you're pushing yourself to the limit. And all of these things just snowball in effect. So that's why it's really important for you to see that this way of thinking can be very dangerous. And if you're experiencing it, you've got to address it. You've got to address it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. The last thing that I want to say about how this train of thought can negatively impact everything that you're doing goes back to off-season training. Now, for some of you with your off season, you will tend to not be able to put on the necessary size because you're constantly worried about off season weight gain. You'll tend not to eat enough, nor do you train in the appropriate way to improve from season to season. So this whole body dysmorphia thing can not only negatively impact your contest prep, but it can negatively impact your off season. And if your off season is not on, guess what? Your prep for the next season is going to be totally off because your prep doesn't begin the day that you diet. Your prep begins the moment you step off the stage and you decide that you're shutting things down and you're going to focus on what you need to do to improve. Now, a lot of competitors, what happens is we get so used to being lean. Imagine it. Some of you are spending 16, 20 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, prepping for a show in a dieting phase. And then not only are you doing one show, but you may do 2 shows, 3 shows, 4 shows, 5 shows, 6 shows. So you've got almost a full year where you walked around shredded to the bone. Now remember what I said earlier, this sport is an extreme sport. So the levels of leanness that we need to bring to the stage is not something that should or can be maintained for the long term. But you're now used to seeing this depleted physique and thinking that that is normal. So the moment you get off and you start eating like a normal person in order to, especially as an athlete, improve your physique, improve your performance, improve your strength, and you stop seeing that leanness that you've been walking around with for 4, 6, 8, or 9 months, it is, excuse my French, I'm gonna curse right now, it's a mind fuck. And it really can do a number on you to see that scale go up 10, 15, 20 pounds. But what you don't realize is that a lot of times, you guys, that's not just body fat. That's glycogen stored in the muscle. That's water shuttled into the muscle with that glycogen on top of body fat and all other stuff. So having an ability to really know what's going on, to think about things on a more physiological level than just on the numbers on a scale, is so important, especially if you plan to move up the ranks in this sport. The number one thing that has helped me as an athlete to become better, to improve from season to season, was the ability to step away from the scale and not use that number as a means to dictate how successful I am along the way. When I was able to look at the scale and see myself go up 20, sometimes 25 pounds above stage weight, what is normal stage weight for me in the off season, is when I was able to really truly push myself and put on the muscle that I needed to be better the next time I stepped on stage. When I stopped that kind of mentality and mindset and stopped being a slave to numbers, that is when I earned my pro card. That is when I was able to put on the size I needed to be on the pro level, to be in the top 2 and 3 on the pro level, and to get to the Olympia stage. It took a shift in my mindset. So this talk we're having right now, for some of you, could be that light bulb that goes off, that gives you that catalyst for change to be a better competitor, to be a better athlete. So this is something you really need to address and put aside. So now that I've identified how this can negatively affect you and exactly what it is and how to identify if you are dealing with this, let's talk about some ways that you can kind of overcome it. Now, as I said, I deal with a lot of competitors who struggle with this. And so as a coach, it's my job to make sure that they understand what's going on and to give them the tools to be able to overcome it. And as someone myself who's been through it, kind of know what I'm talking about here. So let's go ahead and jump right into how to fix this. So the first thing that I'm going to encourage you to do, write this stuff down. If you're dealing with this, write it down and start to put it into action right away. Okay? First thing I want you to do is to get real about what's going on in the mirror. Stop being overly critical and realize how your thinking is hurting you in the long run. You guys, being honest with yourself, and being able to stop being so critical, looking at every flaw that you have, and being able to look at yourself in totality is an important, skill that you need to learn to have as a competitor. You have to be able to be completely objective. And, that's the difference between people who can kind of be successful at coaching themselves, because there's some people out there like myself who can coach themselves, and I've learned how to be objective. So that way I'm not looking in the mirror and criticizing myself to a point from negativity. I can look at myself as a coach and as though I'm looking at a client and be able to work on my own. Some people can't do that. That's why you need coaches. But to be able to have that skill to a certain degree, no matter if you work on your own or not, is crucial in your advancement in this sport. And even for women who don't compete, I'm going to talk to you for a minute because I know some of you are watching this. Even if you don't compete, if you have a body transformation goal and something that you're working towards, being able to step outside of yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and to be able to see what's truly going on is a really important skill that you need to have if long-term success is what you're aiming for. So that's number one. Number two, start focusing on the things that are positive about your physique. What do you actually like about you? What are some things that you can appreciate as your physical strengths as you change and mold your body? I have this one saying I say to every single person that works with me, and it's a challenge that they must accept and that they must learn how to put in action. And I say that, along this journey, you have got to embrace where you are in the present, even as you diligently work to become that future self, the future of what you will become. In that essence, you need to be able to look at yourself and see positive things. It's so easy to pick out the negative. It's so easy to pick out the things that you see as flaws that just drive you freaking nuts, whether it's warranted or not. But here's the thing. There are enough people in this world to pick you apart. There are enough people in this world who are willing to tear you down. If you are a competitor, you already know there are enough people in this world who are going to stand in your face, call you a man, say that you're not feminine, and this, that, the other. So why are you even going to take the energy on yourself to be negative? You've got to learn how to see those things about you that you like. Like, you know what? I have a great X frame. It may not be as lean as I want it to. I might need to put on some more muscle. Maybe I need to bring down my conditioning a bit, but damn it, I've got a good structure and I want to improve upon that. Maybe it's, you know what, my legs, I got some solid legs, man. My legs are really solid. Maybe I have a little cellulite on my thighs right now, but that's gonna come with time, that when I lose that fat. But what I'm gonna focus on is shaping them better, working them harder, getting new PRs in the gym when it comes to my squats, my deadlifts, and all that stuff that I can't do right now. What are the positives that you can pick out about you? Because when you can start focusing on that and not, this is wrong, that is wrong, I hate this, I can't stand this. When you change that mindset, the whole thing becomes a whole different game. So that's the next thing that you definitely need to do to get over this body dysmorphia thing and to move forward into your full potential as an athlete. The next thing, be more cognizant about taking progress photos and realistically compare them at all points in your journey. I'll even encourage you to enlist a friend or someone who knows the sport to honestly evaluate you as you go along, so you have a sane opinion and voice in your ear. You guys, so important, so important. If you're dealing with this body dysmorphia thing, it's gonna take a while for you to be able to learn to be objective about yourself. This is not something that's gonna be an overnight thing. It's definitely something that's gonna happen over time. And it's definitely something that you're just gonna have to put into practice. Just like you learn how to deadlift, you learn how to squat, you learn how to walk when you're a baby, right? You learn how to do all these things. These are skills that need to be developed over time. So I'm not expecting you to be able to control this overnight. But having someone that you can trust, whether it's a friend who's another competitor, whether it's a trainer that you really trust, whether it's a coach or someone that you work with, but having someone else to be able to evaluate things for you and to put things into perspective, to be able to look at your pictures from 4 weeks ago to where you are in the present, to see, hey, look, this is where you're going. This is the positive things that you have going on here. And you've got to see that. You've got to embrace that. It helps so much rather than you staying in your head. The other thing is just progress photos in general. Can I tell you something? Let me tell you something. I can go back and look at progress photos for myself from the first show I've ever done as a competitor. That was back in 2010. I have the first progress photos I've ever done, and every single progress photo for every single show, every single off season from 2010 all the way to now 2017. That's 7 years of photos that I can go back and compare from where I started to where I am today. And I cannot stress to you how important that has been in my overall growth as a competitor. Here's the thing, you guys, no matter who you work with, no matter what coach, no matter what trainer, whoever, it's important for you to stay active in your process. And to be able to see what's going on with your own body. Take responsibility and control of that. Take progress photos. Don't just rely on the scale. Don't just rely on measurements. Don't just rely on the mirror. And really look at yourself, because you have a record and the data don't lie, honey, the pictures don't lie. You can put them together and take a look and see. And that in and of itself can really help you a lot, especially if you're dealing with body dysmorphia and you're trying to overcome it. And the final thing that I'll say, which I keep alluding to, is hire a well-qualified coach. Because working with someone who actually knows and understands the sport is a crucial part of your development as a competitor. Working with a professional is one of the best things that you can do as an athlete, especially one overcoming body dysmorphia as it relates to our sport. And here's the thing about coaches. It's like, you don't necessarily have to work for a coach forever. You know, for some of you that may not be financially realistic, but you know, being able to do it, even if it's for a short period of time in your off season, to set you off on a good path, to do what you have to do, to get you out of your head and to set you up in a way to be successful in your next season. Because it's through your off season training that you're going to find success. It's through your off-season training that you're going to set up the next season to win those trophies, to move up the ranks, to get on the top 5 on the national level, to earn that pro card, to get on the pro stage, to make your pro debut, to place on the pro level, or to get to the Olympia. Honey, listen, I have been through it all. I have been to the very top, and and I have been on the bottom and everywhere in between. So when I talk to you, I'm talking to you from real experience here. And some of the best things that I did was actually work with someone, even in my off season, to be able to help me to move past little stuck points, places where I knew I needed help, and especially where I needed to stay out of my head, because we all get like that. No matter how long you've been doing this, we all get in our heads, and we all deal with this issue of body dysmorphia at some point in the journey. If you are experiencing this, know that you're not alone. It's not something that like you should suffer with by yourself, or for yourself and whatever. So seek the help that you need, and to really just reach out and get whatever assistance you need to be able to move forward and be at the top of the sport. I'm going to take a look at some of your questions here. Guys, I'm going to only answer questions that are related to this actual feed here. Some of you guys are asking me questions about exercise and stuff like that. That I'll address in another post or whatever. I don't see anything else but praise for what I'm saying, so I appreciate you guys watching. So here's what I'm going to say. Tag a friend, share this video, because my goal is to impact as many lives as I can positively when it comes to women who love to train, who love to work out, and especially those of us who are in the sport of bodybuilding. I feel like, especially when it comes to figure, there's a lot of stuff out there for bikini girls, but when it comes to figure and physique girls, we got to do a lot more digging about stuff and the science behind what we do and how the division works and all that stuff. So make sure you tag your friends and share this video. If you have any comments or anything like that after the broadcast, please go ahead and put them in the comment box, and I'll be sure to connect with you. Here's the other thing I want to say before I go. If you love the stuff that I share here, let me tell you something. You are missing a great deal of the content that I have on my website and even on my own blog as I prepare to step on stage again on the IFBB Pro stage in 2018 and figure. I'm coming back, you guys, and my process is an open book, and I want to make sure that you guys see how someone at my level works. How do I train? How do I eat? What's going on through my mind taffy that I deal with? And I'm actually blogging my whole process. The best way for you to keep up with everything that I have to share, including advice about training and nutrition, is to come onto my email list. It's completely free, and that address I put in the description of this video, and it's www.rockstarfitness.com/email list. You can also click the sign up button at the top of my Facebook page. And on YouTube, just click on the little info circle. You'll see the link to get on my email list there. And the final thing I'll leave you with, guys, today is to say that there are some of you watching, out there who want to take your training and nutrition to the next level. There's some of you watching who are dealing with this body dysmorphia thing, and it's really freaking throwing you off your game, and you need the help, you need the assistance. Don't sit out there and suffer in silence. Let's go ahead and work together. If you want to go ahead and work with me, I am actually taking on new clients right now, so why not? Come and set up a complimentary appointment, a phone call, and that's it. We'll sit and talk for about an hour or so and just figure out what it is that you need, your needs, your goals. Especially for those of you who worked with coaches before who've not met your expectations. My program is very different because it's actual very hands-on coaching, and I don't take on everyone. I only take on very serious athletes, so some people I turn away. But, if I feel that I can help you, then I'd love to have you. The link to go ahead and set up a complimentary call is right in the description of this video. You do not have to suffer through this alone. And if you really want to be developed as an athlete, that's what I call my off-season time, my off-season competitor development program. So come and work with me. Let's see how we can take things to the next level for you. All right, guys, I thank you so much for watching my video today. I thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, make sure that you leave them in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.